Hello and welcome back to the show. So today I'm going to be hopping on IG Live to chat all about why I love running in-person retreats, what it means to me. And if you have been thinking about attending a healing retreat, you are going to want to listen to this live. So bear with me as I hop on Morning Tea Live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Morning Tea Live. Happy Wednesday. I hope you all are having a beautiful day. It is, of course, raining again in San Diego. I don't know what is going on. I kind of love it, though. It's very cozy in here. So let me know where you guys are tuning into, where you're listening from. And today we are going to be talking about retreats and why I was inspired to create in-person retreats and why they mean so much to me, why I am just so excited for this next one coming up in April. And yeah, so let's start with a few deep breaths just to settle into the present moment. So wherever you are, if you are able to close your eyes, put your hands over your heart, take a deep breath in. And release. And again, breathing all the way in. And release. And one more. And release. And just noticing how your breath is feeling in this present moment. And as you start to slowly come back to the present, just orienting with one of the five senses. So whether that's listening to something or looking at something, like right now I can hear Luna running around with her little bell collar. She just hopped on the table, so I'm listening to her. Or, looking at a plant in your home, or if you're outside looking at nature. So whatever you can look at, just to kind of ground into the present. So we ground through the five senses. What can you hear? What can you smell? What can you taste? What can you hear? What can you see? Okay, let's dive in. So it was September 2022, so about 7 months ago, that I ran my very first retreat. And it left me with this feeling of, holy shit, I want to do that like 20 more times and beyond. And the reason why it was so powerful was because the most common theme that I hear, hi, Nuni, among my clients and within my own healing community of my own, colleagues who do this work, is that when you start healing your nervous system, when you start healing your attachment wounding, when you start connecting to your deepest, authentic parts of yourself, and you feel more connected to yourself in general, you can start to feel more disconnected from others. And this can feel really, really scary, and it can make us get small. It can make us stop expanding, stop healing. It can make us retreat back to retreat. It can revert back, retreat back, either way, revert back to old behaviors, old addictions, because this new way of safety, this new way of relating does not quite feel safe yet. And so when we are feeling this disconnection and we're feeling this fear come up of like, does this mean I'm going to lose people? My relationships are shifting, and we are attachment-based creatures. We need connection to survive. Like, we will not survive if we don't have connection. And so the challenging part about going on a healing journey is that you have to sit with the unknown and this interim period where you're not quite feeling connected to the people you used to feel connected to, but then maybe you haven't found the people that are more aligned that you can feel connected to. And so my intention with creating these retreats was to bridge that gap so that people can start to meet other people going through the same healing journey, even if they don't end up becoming, like new soul aligned friends. Sometimes that does happen. A lot of times that happens actually. But even if that's not the case, it can be so incredibly healing and comforting to know that there are other people who get it, who get what you are working on, because it really is like speaking a different language. When I first started doing this work, I had two of my best friends literally say, like, oh, Rachel sounds like she's speaking a different language, because it is. It is a different language. You're talking about nervous system, you're talking about trauma, you're talking about childhood wounds, you're talking about authenticity versus attachment, which is Dr. Gabor Mate's concept. You're talking about, expansion and manifestation and spirituality, and like really connecting to these different parts of yourselves. And it does feel like a different language at times, because most of the world is unconscious to those different parts of themselves. Most of the world is unconscious to their addictive behaviors and what their authenticity versus attachment even looks like. Most of the world is unconscious to the attachment wounding that they walk around with every single moment of every single day. Most of the world is unconscious to the way in which they are relating to themselves, others, in the world, because they are relating through trauma. And it is so hardwired, it is so subconscious that one would not even be able to, hear this and be like, oh yeah, I am relating through trauma. Like, it takes such deep exploration and a deep dive into the ways in which you are relating to realize what felt so normal and common and hardwired is not actually so normal at all. And I use the word normal very lightly, because I don't even believe that there's any such thing as normal. But if we look at Dr. Mate's book, The Myth of Normal, he talks about this. He talks about how society functions as if the way in which we are, quote unquote, functioning is, quote unquote, normal. But when I say normal, I just mean, like, does it actually serve you? Does it actually help you feel the way that you want to feel in life? Is it actually working for you? Or are you stuck in your addictions? Are you stuck in your head? Are you stuck feeling chronically anxiously and anxiousness and depression? Are you stuck, in these toxic relationships? I don't even believe in toxic relationships, but I say that because I think that's, what the world calls it. So you'll be able to, know what I'm talking about. It's like, it can come off as toxic, right? So when we are stuck through relating through our addictions, through choosing things differently, and we start to feel disconnected from our people, it can feel utterly terrifying. And this is one of the biggest blocks that I see happening with myself, with my clients, with people in the world, is that when they reach a certain point of healing and it starts to threaten their relationships, they then retreat back, they get small, they choose attachment over authenticity, and they don't feel safe to choose themselves. And so they get a taste of what this healing is like. And they're like, ooh, this feels exciting. This feels, maybe a little bit scary. And I know that I want to keep going. But then there are some people where it's like, okay, I may want to keep going, but I don't feel safe to keep going. So this is why we need co-regulation. Someone DM'd me and asked, why can't we do this work alone? We can't do this work alone because little t/relational trauma is experienced relationally. So if we're going to repair that and give our inner child that reparative experience, we need to do it with another human being, because we are relational creatures. So you can do all of the healing work on your own, the somatic practices, the journaling, the meditation, the cacao ceremonies, the ayahuasca, the mushroom journeys. You can do all of that. But if you are not feeling safe to relate to other human beings, primarily yourself, then none of that other stuff is going to cut it, right? All of that other stuff is like sprinkles of bonuses, cherries on top. But the foundation is that we are creatures who connect and who relate and who feel safe based on connection. So it doesn't work to try and do this alone, because we don't operate in a world where we function alone. So the reason why I created these retreats is because when you are on this healing journey and you're feeling so alone and so scared and so lost and so confused, and your whole identity is being shattered, the ways in which you view yourself are being shattered, and you're like, what the fuck did I get myself into? it is necessary to be in community, in relationship with other people who speak the same language, who get it, who understand what you're going through. And there's nothing more important than that. If I didn't have my mentor, the healing group I'm part of, my colleagues that understand the work that I do, both personally and professionally, it would be quite a different experience. We all need community, right? And so if you're becoming a yoga teacher, you want to meet other yoga teachers. If you're going to med school and becoming a doctor, you want to meet other doctors. If, when I was in grad school for therapy, I related to my co-therapist in a way that I never was able to relate to non-therapists, because it's just simply different. It's not better or worse. It's just simply different. So we need people in our community who are going through the same things, who are working through the same things. The difference with this work is that it's not just for doctors or dentists or therapists. It's literally applies to everyone, because we all have nervous systems. We all have brains and hearts, and it is what makes us human. And we are all connection-based creatures. So I created this retreat so that people can have a space to connect, to heal relationally. When they see other people healing from the same stuff, or going through the same stuff, or looking at it in a similar way, it can give you so much insight on your own healing journey, right? It can be like, oh, this thing that I had so much shame around, this thing that I thought was just a me problem, this thing that I thought was just unique and specific to me, is not actually that unique to me. This was a big one for me in my healing journey, because I always thought that like the stuff that I was working through was just a Rachel thing. And some of it is unique to me and my experience and my trauma. But at the end of the day, it's all in the same, what's the word I'm looking for? It's all the same. It's all from the same pot of soup, but some bites of the soup might have different flavors, like more pepper in that biteful or more garlic in the next, right? Do you guys love my analogies that I make up on the spot? I think they're great. So, oh, that's the analogy I was looking for. We're all cut from the same cloth, but the piece of cloth, the individual piece of cloth, might just have a different spin or flavor or texture to it. So I think you guys get the point. And if you don't, sorry, I can't think of better analogies right now. So anyway, my point is that we think that it's unique to us. We start listening to what other people are going through, and we realize, oh, this shows up in different ways for them. For other people, it shows up in the same exact ways. I had a conversation with my best friend yesterday on the phone, and we were talking, and she was expressing something that she was just kind of like a way that she was perceiving a situation. And I was like, oh my God, I literally was perceiving it that same exact way. And I thought that that was just a me thing. And I was like, why am I so crazy? Why is this, like just happening for me? And why doesn't anyone else feel this way? And then she said that she also is perceiving it that way. And I was like, oh my God, like this makes sense. Like we're humans. We're all humans. We all struggle with the same shit. It really just shows up both in similar and in different ways. And so hearing from other people who are going through these things and doing the same healing work of rewiring the nervous system, healing your attachment wounding, and feeling safe to create a life that you want, it can feel so refreshing and eye-opening to hear how this shows up for people, both in similar and different ways. So that's reason number one. Reason number two is that healing can be fucking painful. I mean, literally, yesterday in my Come Home to Yourself group, we had a really, really deep dive. Like this was only our third group in, and these ladies are just going in. They are fully leaning into the process, and it is so inspiring to witness. And I like to think that it's also because I'm attracting clients that go all in, because I go all in. Like I go all in on my healing. And what do I mean by that? I mean, financially, it's top priority. Like there is no greater priority than healing, like nothing. Because it literally is a blueprint for everything else in my life. So if I get rid of that foundation, I'm getting rid of all the blocks in the building that I'm building on top of that foundation. I also go in terms of looking at the deepest, darkest parts of myself that bring up so much shame, that bring up so much dysregulation and lack of safety, that feels so incredibly painful to look at. And I look at them because I want to shift them. Because why wouldn't you want to shift something that's keeping you stuck and suffering? And because it's a beautiful, empowering process to show myself how fucking powerful I am, that I can literally heal and shift anything. And then the other reason for that is that I do it not just for me, but for my clients, because when I go to the depths of my darkest parts of my soul, I am able to guide others in doing the same. So we can only help others as far as we've met ourselves. We can only meet others as far as we've met ourselves. So I like to think that I attract clients that go all in on their healing. And so anyway, we were talking about this in group, and, I'm seeing how much they're leaning into this, and they're like, this has only been 2 weeks of this, and it's just shooken up my whole world. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. And that means you're doing it right. Not that there's a right or a wrong way to heal, but it means that you're really leaning into it and looking at these things coming up and the ways in which you're relating. If you are feeling like your world is kind of turned upside down. And that's why most people won't do this work, because it will turn your world upside down. And that feels so scary. And it feels like you may have to lose a lot of what you've already built. But why do we do it then? We do it so that we can build something even more aligned, more authentic, more amazing, where we can feel how we want to feel. So doing it for, the first reason I talked about of meeting other people, like-minded people, where you can feel part of a community that actually feels in alignment and where you can feel safe to show your authentic part. And then the second part to that is really being able to experience play and pleasure and joy and what we call glimmers, which is a term from Deb Dana, where she talks about, how glimmers are really the opposite of triggers. It's like anything where you can feel the sense of safety, you can engage in your senses. And when we're healing trauma, it is so freaking painful that we don't necessarily feel safe to experience joy. And when we are healing trauma, one of the most reparative things is showing our nervous system it is safe to get out of survival mode. It is safe to experience joy and connection. And so these retreats, it's not this experience where you're going in and you're like, it's a fucking 5-day boot camp of just crying my eyes out and excavating all this deep, dark shit. That's part of it. But it's also, let's just play and be in community with other people who can see us and see all of us, and where you can feel safe to show our full authentic self. And we are, it's just such a safe space. And let's actually experience, our ventral state in that, our state of connection, joy, home, love, and safety. So I intentionally create so much space for rest, for relaxation, for just allowing yourself to be treated really luxuriously and kind of getting pampered, and allowing yourself to experience a next level of life so that you get a taste of what expansion feels like. We don't torture ourselves with healing just to stay in pain all day, every day. We do the hard work of healing so that we can actually experience and feel safe to experience that next level of living, which is safety and expansion and abundance and alignment and joy and just pure magic. And although we could consciously want this, if we don't actually feel safe because it's still foreign to our nervous systems, we are going to self-sabotage. This literally happened in my business. My mentor and I realized that I had reached this new level of, success, abundance, alignment, all of this stuff in my business. And it was so sneaky. My nervous system didn't feel safe to hold all of it because I was holding a new level of people, I was holding a new level of responsibility. I was just holding a new level. And my nervous system self-sabotaged because it didn't feel safe yet. And so now that I know that, I can be that much more intentional of really tending to any sneaky, subtle, energy of fear that shows up, or feeling like things are expanding too fast and I need to just like have a place to land and just like come back into the present moment without being like, I need to go back to my comfort zone and this is what feels safe. So whether you're an entrepreneur like myself, or you are, reaching for that job promotion, or you're just wanting to expand in any way, and if you're not wanting to expand, looking at that, right? Why does it feel safer to stay in my comfort zone than to actually reach my potential? And not like potential is this like capped thing of like, okay, I reached it, but like really continuing to step into newer, more aligned, abundant, more powerful versions of yourself. It's just the coolest thing in the world to witness. Anyway, so in my first retreat, we did a bonfire where it was like this ritual to release bonfire, where I had the girls write down different things that they wanted to release, different things they wanted to bring in. And I kid you not, during the bonfire, this man walks up to us, and I live in Ocean Beach, San Diego. If you know Ocean Beach, it's very communal. People come up to strangers all the time. We make friends on the beach. We join each other's bonfires. We didn't have a sign that was like private retreat. It was very just like communal, and people could share the fire pit. But anyway, this man walks up to us and he goes, I was called to walk this wood over to you because I got the message that you guys needed more wood. This was literally the moment that our wood was about to run out. I kid you not. It was like, you can't make up this timing. It was like the moment that the wood was about to burn out, and we were going to have to leave the fire, even though we weren't quite done with our ceremony. And this guy was like, here, can I sit with you guys? And in exchange, I'm going to give you this wood. So we start chatting with him. What's your name? My name is Manifest. That's what he says. He says his name is Manifest. And I'm like, what the fuck? We're like doing this manifestation ceremony. This guy named Manifest, who apparently is related to the founder of Burning Man. Like, he's telling us all these wild stories, all of these stories of like these different lives that he's lived within this lifetime, of all these different adventures, like such a free spirit. It just was so fitting for this vibe of the retreat and for the work that I'd been doing with my clients. So it's stuff like that where just, magical things can happen, and it's just such a cool experience. So we did that. We did sound bowl healing on the cliffs. We did a photo shoot, which, can bring up a lot of emotions, right? When you're feeling insecure, when you're feeling like you're not looking your best, like, can you feel safe to show up anyway and show little you and show yourself that you are a fucking powerful person who can really allow yourself to just shine your brightest life and be your brightest light and just be your most authentic self. And so we did a photo shoot. We did private yoga on the beach. I cooked them breakfast. We did green juice in the morning. We got burritos. We did all these fun things. And this was only within one short weekend. We went to the dog beach. We did some manifestation and attachment wounding workshops. We did some painting and some art, because I attract a lot of artist clients. I don't know why, but most of my clients are artists, which is really, really cool because I love working with them so much. I have clients who are singers, who are photographers, who are painters, who are designers, just really cool. So it's funny because a lot of my colleagues attract other therapists. And I have one social worker client, one therapist client, but yeah, most of my clients are artists. So it's really, really interesting. But then I do also attract a lot of therapists who are interested in switching to the coaching world. So I've been thinking about, ways of supporting them in doing that. Anywho, I digress. So we do all those fun things. This retreat that I have planned next month in San Diego, so it's April 27th to May 1st, 2023. So if you're listening to this before then, which hopefully you will be, because I'm going to put this episode out very shortly, there are still spots left. And originally, this retreat was for clients only because I wanted the clients that I was working with to meet each other. And then I realized that for someone who's never done this work, meeting other people in person and getting to like meet a community like this can be such a beautiful introduction to this work. So then I decided to open it up to the public. And, part of that was me releasing my own control of like, it feels safer for me for it to just be my clients because I know my clients. And so I looked at, where am I allowing my fear of really stepping further into my leadership to get in the way of making this retreat even more like well-rounded and diverse and expansive, not only for my clients, but for me as the leader. And so I decided, opening it up to the public would feel a little bit more risky to me. And it's a beautiful way to show myself that I'm safe to really step into my power and my leadership. So this retreat, I'm going to show you guys, actually I can't because I'm on my phone, but anyway, I will kind of go over what we have planned, but I decided to take this retreat to the next level. So the first retreat was in this beautiful Airbnb right on the ocean. It was a little bit smaller. It could only hold a few people. And it was, just more like shared space. And it was really, really nice. But for this next one, I was like, you know what? I am feeling safer and safer to expand into my own next level living where I feel safer to receive, like just receive in general. And to also receive just like how good life gets to be. And so I decided to kind of go all out for this next retreat. So the women who have already signed up for this, there's 3 of them so far, and they are getting just a whole new level. And what I mean by that is the Airbnb that I booked this time, it's more secluded and private. It's over these mountains. And it is literally, my friend messaged me and said, this looks like a house from Selling OC. If you've seen the show Selling OC or Selling Sunset, it looks like one of those houses. It's like high level luxury. It has like this giant pool and hot tub and lights and floaties and pool table and like just ping pong, like all of this just amazingness, like a water slide, a fire pit, like a bar at the pool, just like you literally feel like you're on vacation. And so when I found this house, I was like, holy fuck, this is the house. This is the one. And so we are up leveling. So we're having a private chef who's going to cook vegan food, very eco-conscious. Just, last time I cooked or we got taken, this time it's like fresh food served to us from a private chef, which is really cool. And then we have, again, private yoga, private sound bowl healing. We're having a massage company come and give us massages at the house. So we don't even have to leave. We just walk out of the house and we get massages. And then we're having a luxe picnic at Sunset Cliff. So if you go on Instagram and you see all those pretty picnics that people do for like birthdays and anniversaries and all of that, we're doing one of those, which I'm really excited for because I just have always wanted to do one of those. And last retreat, it didn't work out to do it just budget wise. And so this time I was like, we are doing the luxe picnic. And then at the luxe picnic, we're going to do a photo shoot. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, so them being able to have photo shoots and professional photos for them to use for their branding, so they're getting a branding photo shoot kind of included in the cost of the retreat. And then we're having a videographer so that they can also have content to use for their businesses and all of that. And then we're going to do some kayaking. So just getting to experience like the beautiful San Diego, the Bay. And then we're going to do some group healing sessions. I'm going to provide workshops on different topics around healing, and then we're going to get to process in group together. This is something that normally you would have to sign up for one of my group containers to experience, but the retreat is something where you get literally all of it in one. It's like one big package. So you're getting one-on-one healing, you're getting group healing, you're getting in-person time with me and other women who are doing the similar work. And if you are a man listening to this, we are also going to be hosting a men's retreat. Anna and I are going to be doing that. for the men in our men's group. So stay tuned for that. But for now, this is just for the ladies. And let's see what else. So kayaking, I think we'll do another bonfire. We may or may not do a hike. We'll see. And then there's just like a lot of time in the schedule for relaxing by the pool, actually having time to connect and like allow your nervous system to just settle, right? Because when you're in that Monday through Friday, like work, come home, cook, just doing all these things, it's so necessary to give yourself time to just integrate and to settle and to feel safe to slow down. So a lot of this retreat is like a balance of the doing, right? The divine masculine energy of doing and action, but it's also that divine feminine energy of, can you just sit back and receive and feel safe to allow yourself to trust that you're safe to just experience such a beautiful way of relating and living. And so I really aim to give my clients just this like high-end experience of that, kind of as a nice reward for all of the work that they've been doing. And if you haven't done this work yet, again, it's just a way to meet people that are more aligned and that can show you how powerful this work is. And just to have fun with each other, right? Like it doesn't always have to be so heavy and so serious. And when we're on a healing journey, it can tend to feel that way. So really just feeling safe to just like enjoy life, to trust goodness, to trust that you are worthy and safe to receive. So that's kind of a gist of what we're going to be doing in this retreat. It's April 27th to May 1st. We have so many different payment plans. The retreat is currently on sale for $666 off for a total of $2,222. This is all inclusive, covers the 4 nights of stay at the house, all of the food, all of the activities, everything you will need except for travel. So if you're flying in, I have a client that's flying in, paying for airfare, stuff like that. But I also have a lot of local Californians who are just driving. So that's the only thing that's not included. This is going to be so just powerful, and something that I've heard from clients as well as my own experience with this is that even just making the decision to take this leap of faith, right? Because like you go on this, I talk about this all the time. You go on this platform and there's like plethora and just like plethoras of people selling you on stuff, right? They're sharing their services. And it's beautiful because there's so many different beautiful offers in this world, right? And sometimes it can feel hard of like, what's the right offer for me? Or what is the right thing that I need right now at this point in my healing journey? And so sometimes when we finally make a decision that feels authentic and aligned to us, even just making that investment can shift something and can heal something internally. It's like you claiming to yourself and the universe and the world, I am worthy and safe of investing in myself. There is no greater investment than the investment of feeling how I want to feel and creating the life that I want to create. So I've had people that have signed up for this retreat, and just from signing up, they're feeling lighter, they're feeling more expansive, and it hasn't even begun yet. That happens with my groups and my one-on-one containers all the time, where they make this big investment, this big decision, and they're like, holy shit, I just did this big thing. And, you know, because it's different, right? Like I have freebies, I put out free content all the time, but it's not as big of a stretch for your nervous system to receive free content. But when I first invested in my healing and I made that big leap where I didn't even have income and I just did it because I was like, I need this, it felt so expansive for me because I'm like, yes, I am not settling for a life that doesn't feel the way that I want it to feel. I'm not settling for anything less than what I am worthy of and deserve and need to feel like my best self. So that is the power of, you know, leading yourself and leading your life, is you lead first and the universe responds. Everyone waits. Not everyone. A lot of people in our world wait of like, I want this thing, but it hasn't happened yet, so I guess it's not going to happen. You lead yourself first And then the universe responds. So when I led myself in investing in my healing for the first time ever, I invested $4,500 that I literally did not have. I put it all on my credit card. Thank God, grateful for my bestie Sapphire credit card. She's gotten me through some rough times. When I did that, I then got my first client who offered to pay in full. I didn't even ask her to pay in full. She offered and said she wanted to pay in full, which was $4,500. So it's just an example that when you take the risk, the universe always rewards courage, always, even if you don't see it right away, even if you're like, oh, nothing's happening. And you don't do the big thing just because you want the reward. You do it because it feels aligned. It feels expansive. It feels like a fuck yes in your body, and you feel the fear and you do it anyway. And so if you are feeling the pull, if you are feeling like you are ready to meet like-minded souls who have said yes to themselves, their healing, their expansion, yes to investing in their healing, in their lives, in themselves, and you want to hang out and be surrounded by that type of energy because you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most, that is so accurate. When you start spending your time and energy around people who are talking about, next level income, next level business ideas, next level ways of treating yourself, next level ways of eating and nourishing yourself, next level ways of feeling, you start to feel that. It is so powerful. So this is a really special opportunity. I do all of my work virtually. It is rare that you get to do this work with me in person, and that is why I've created these retreats. So there are still spots left. It is open to the public. It is a beautiful, beautiful way to start this work and to get a taste for it. And it's just going to be so fun. So if you have been feeling like you are sick of feeling sick and tired, and you need just this support to bridge the gap into this new way of living, I would love to have you at this retreat, and I would love for you to meet these 3 amazing clients that have been working with me for quite some time now and who have been doing this work and who I'm just so deeply proud of because they have just shifted in the most beautiful ways, and they would be beautiful mirrors and role models and inspirations and guides for you if you are also wanting to deepen this work. So reach out. Let's talk about it. I offer extended payment plans always. I never want money to get in the way. I know money is real. I know it takes money to heal, and I've been there. So it's this middle ground of wanting you to feel that nervous system stretch so that you can develop that nervous system flexibility you need to be able to invest in the things that you want to invest in and live the life that you want to live, because living requires money. That is the world we live in, while also honoring where you're at and meeting yourself where you're at. So please DM me, come chat, look at the retreat stuff that I posted in my highlights, see if I can't speak, see if it feels aligned, and I would love for you to join us. So let me know if you guys have any questions. If you are not fully ready to commit to a retreat, some of the other offers that I have right now open, I have 2 one-on-one spots in my program Insight. This is a 3-month minimum commitment, weekly Zoom sessions for 1 hour, Monday through Friday Voxer support. It's my highest level of healing. If you want to collapse time and go all in on your healing, this is the container. It is currently priced at $2,000 per month for weekly calls, or $1,555 for bi-weekly calls. I also am enrolling with my co-leader Anna for the next round of our men's group, Real Men Heal 3.0. May 8th, we already have a member signed up and a couple on the wait list. So if you are wanting to learn more about this, you can head to the link in my bio, submit an application. We'll hop on a free, no pressure discovery call, see if it's in alignment, and get you going on your healing journey. That's a 3-month group with an option to continue into our mastermind after that. And then I'm also enrolling on a wait list for Come Home to Yourself, which is my 4-month anxiously attached women's group. I already have some people that are on the wait list for that as well. So I keep these groups intentionally small so that each person gets the individualized attention they need to fully do a nervous system rewiring and fully have that reparative relational healing experience that they need. So these are just such special containers. I feel really proud of them. I feel really honored to be able to do this work and to guide people in their healing. It is literally my life's mission to help people feel the way that they want to feel and get to experience how good life can be. Because life is painful, and the more we accept that, the more we get to experience the freedom on the other side of that. When we feel our pain and we feel it to heal it, it sets ourselves free of suffering, free of our own bullshit, free of all of the ways in which we keep ourselves stuck. So if any of those are calling to you, DM me, we can chat more. I love connecting with you guys, and I'm just so grateful for each and every one of you, everyone who attends these Morning Tea Lives, everyone who is following on Instagram, everyone who is watching this on YouTube or listening to this on the podcast. I am genuinely so incredibly grateful for you, because the more people that do this work, the more our world and our earth shifts, and the more we can become leaders in our relationships and shift how we are relating to other people. And the less violence there will be, the less hatred there will be, the less suffering there will be, the less wars and shootings and illness and all of these terrible things that happen in our world. All of that is directly related to people having a dysregulated nervous system and their trauma running the show. There's no regulated, healed person that would be shooting or that would be hating on people or would be doing these horrific things. That is a deeply wounded, lost soul that needs so much healing and so much love and so much compassion and caring for. And that's never going to happen if we don't first do that for ourselves. It starts with us, and then it's a domino effect of healing for everyone else. So please, if you don't do it for you, do it for the rest of the world. This world needs so much healing. This isn't the type of healing where it's like, oh, maybe one day, maybe, it'll be a luxurious thing that I do for myself, a treat myself kind of thing. This is a necessity. It is like, if we don't do this work, our world will not shift, and we are going to continue to suffer and watch loved ones die and get sick and get shot and all these horrific things. It is a necessity. It is the most selfless thing that you can do in the world. The most selfless thing. And so if you're hearing these prices and you're like, this isn't aligned, I want you to get curious. Why? Because this work is priceless. And I get it. Money is real. It feels scary to invest big amounts. I totally relate to that. And it's about an energy exchange. I charge what I charge because I fully believe in the power of this work. And I believe it's worth so much more than what I charge. And I understand money is real. And so I want to be able to meet people where they're at and meet my own nervous system where it's at. But it is the most important work in the world you can do. And I believe that with all of my heart, because I've seen how it shifted my own life. I've seen how it shifted my clients' lives. I've seen how it shifted the people in my clients' lives who haven't even done this work, because they're able to relate differently. They're able to lead their relationships differently. It is the most beautiful thing in the world where, because you're doing this healing, you're communicating and relating differently to your mom, your dad, your sibling, your friend, your partner. And rather than relating through your trauma, your defenses, your protectors, all of that, you are able to hold the other person more because you've held yourself more. And that creates a ripple effect of healing. It is so incredibly powerful, so incredibly powerful. And I feel so incredibly grateful and honored to be doing this as a job. It doesn't even feel like a job. It just feels like what I was born to do. And so if you have been going to traditional therapy and you're like, I'm still feeling stuck, if you've been on medication and you're like, I don't want to have to take pills every day to feel the way I want to feel, if you've been to couples therapy and nothing is changing, if you've been to all the spiritual retreats and done all the ayahuasca and all the cacao ceremonies and all the meditation ceremonies and all the breathwork ceremonies, and you're still getting triggered in relationships, and you're still feeling anxious every day, and you're still feeling this subtle, sneaky energy, and you can't quite put your finger on what it is, this is the work. I help you suss out all of that sneaky, subtle energy, the ways in which your wounding is so hardwired that it sneaks up, and it is so sneaky that you can't even know what's happening. And you're like, why do I feel this way? Or why am I relating this way? Or why did I make that weird face? Or why did I react in that way? It's helping you become conscious in your life, because if you are not a conscious leader of your life, your wounds and your trauma will unconsciously lead you. So you get to choose. But I encourage you to look at the resistance. I encourage you to look at why you are feeling safer to prioritize everyone else in your life and everything else in your life except for you, and why you are believing the lies in your head that say that you can't afford it, that you can't do it, that it would be selfish, that it's not the right time, that that would be crazy. Sometimes the craziest things are the best things to do because they feel crazy because they're not normalized. So let's start normalizing them, because that's what's going to help this earth heal. So my stomach's growling. That means I need to go eat. So I'm going to head off. But please reach out if this is calling to you. I would love to connect, and I would love to guide you home to you and your greatest self, and your greatest future awaits. Oh, I love this work so much. Thank you for being here. I love you all so much, and I will see you on the next episode.